In Stanford, California, the Pac-12 Network proudly presents women's college volleyball inside Moscow Maples Pavilion as the number 17 UCLA Bruins travel north to take on the undefeated and #1 ranked Stanford Cardinal. Hi, buddy, and welcome. I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so much for joining us. My partner, Al Skates, the Hall of Famer. And, Coach, you were known for a lot of things, but one was game plan. All right, well, give us the game plan tonight for both UCLA and Stanford.
Stanford has to slow down Carstelo. They have to put their best in blocker on her. The middle has to be ready to jump over there, and the diggers have to take away her best shots. She'll be unstoppable for one set, but then they can get to her.
And for the Stanford Cardinal, Maddie Bugg voted Defensive Player of the Week this week in the Pac-12 Conference, but it's really her ability to move the ball around in a balanced attack. She leads the way for them offensively.
Yeah, Maddie loves to set the middle. She goes to the middle 50% of the time on good digs or good passes. And Janaku, the middle attacker right there, has over 3.5 kills per set, lead the team. She's been setting faster to the outside, too, and getting 1-and-1. She's simply one of the best setters in the country.
Carstelo, the opposite or right side player for UCLA. Is she the best attacker so far in college volleyball this year?
She's definitely the best attacker. She gets more kills per set than anybody right now. She gets more attempts per set. She's #1 in the country in both of those things. And she gets at sharp angles nobody can dig ball. And she's still improving. Every opponent's game plan is focused on stopping her.
Well, and the question, of course, is can UCLA be like Stanford for a night and get some balance? Because Carstelo against the #1 and undefeated Stanford Cardinal will need some help. Serve starting lineups coming next right here on Pac-12 Network. Pac-12 Women's Volleyball is presented by Tachikara. We've got the ball. You bring the game. Getting ready for first serve here in Stanford. The Cardinal 18-0 against UCLA at 14-5. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. Lo Lawless, Riley Bushler, the daughter of Judd Bushler, the basketball star at the University of Arizona. And on the other side, it is a per balance. Jordan Burgess out of Tampa, Florida, maybe the best all-around player so far in the country. Superb receiver, great defender, and a very good left side hitter. UCLA in their road black with blue trim uniform. Stanford will be in their home white, and there is Carstelo, leading scorer in the nation, leading the nation in kills as well. And Inky Janaku, there is Bird, a star-studded lineup certainly for Stanford. Consensus #1 team in the country so far this year. There you see the season history. The most important number is that Stanford has beaten UCLA the last 4 times they have gotten together. Jenny Frager, 6'5" sophomore middle blocker, will start things off. Best 3 out of 5 sets. First 4 sets, 25 points, must win by 2. And Al Skates, that's what Stanford does. They pass the ball perfectly and run the ball down your throat.
The middle blocker could not even take one step in the direction of the attacker. That set was so fast.
Really good offense. Morgan Bocath. You're going to see a lot of players as they go back to serve for the first time. Kills per set is going to be 2+, 3+, 4+. Tremendous balance for the Stanford Cardinal. A little bit of equipment adjustment along the sideline, so Bocath will have to wait just a moment. And he is one of those, not only averaging over 2.5 kills per set, but also 1.8 digs per set, hitting 326. Outstanding numbers in her position. Quick play out of the middle, and Zoe Nightingale able to put that ball away, wearing number 13 out of Sacramento for UCLA, the 6'3" senior.
Zoe's hitting 400 this season in the Pac-12. She's against the toughest opponents.
Ace serve for Carstelo, not only doing it off the right side where she will hit 5 times, and on the left side only once. A very nice jump serve here, Al.
That ball just died at the 3-meter line. What a great serve.
That was like a serve into the wind from the good side.
That's right. That's right. That went down fast.
Into the wind, tucked right over the top of the net. What a year that Carstelo is having in the best conference in the country. The Pac-12, along with the Big Ten, dominate the top 25 rankings so far. Burgess, good decision, just keeping that ball in play. And there is Carson Lowe out of the backcourt. UCLA heading the point. Going to get a free ball here. Quickly to the left side and down the line, but out of bounds and missed by Haley Lawless.
Haley Lawless tore her ACL, and she has a large brace on her leg. Last October, she tore her ACL, so she's going to come back strong now.
Lawless into the sharp cross court, and that ball is just inside the sideline. That's a very good swing.
8 feet off the net.
Yeah.
She brought that ball down over the tape.
That is really, really good swing. Another look.
Very nice, right on the line.
And inside of Ajanaku, a pretty well-formed block. She will go to sideline and replaced in the backcourt. Defensive specialist Carla Drolson coming on. UCLA will use a lot more subs than will Stanford. The defined lineup. That ball defined straight down. Not a smart swing. Low set right at the seam of the ball.
Well, she saw a hole. But Inky and Ajanaku made that double hand lateral move and took the whole way.
Really good blocking on the outside. Maddie Bug again voted last week Defensive Player of the Week. A lot of people think that she is the best setter in the Pac-12 conference so far on the year. Zoe Nightingale, not great heat on that particular shot, but able to get it to the floor.
A kill's a kill.
Absolutely.
You hit it where it ain't, it's a good kill.
They all count the same. 100 kilometers an hour or barely getting off your hand. The libero for UCLA coming on to serve. The libero coming in for each of the middle blockers. The libero is Taylor Formico, 5'7" sophomore out of Mountain View, California. Been a big lift for Mike Seeley and UCLA Bruins, the transfer out of Santa Barbara. There is Mike Seeley, now in his 5th year at UCLA. Won an NCAA championship in his 2nd season with the Bruins, but very unlikely absent from the NCAA tournament last year.
Yeah, he had some injuries last year, and some key players went down, and that's what happens.
15-15 on the season, only 6-14 in Pac-12 play. Julie Consani, the 5'11" senior transfer setter out of Cal State Fullerton. Interesting story about how she's gotten into the starting lineup for UCLA. Burgess into the cross court. Consani wanted transfer to come play beach volleyball at UCLA. Said, hey, Coach C, can I just come out and sort of, just try out for the indoor team? Turns out that she's the only healthy setter on the lineup so far for Mike Seeley, and he said he would be in dire straits without her in the lineup. UCLA off to a pretty good start, passing the ball. And perfect ball control for Stanford, right back at you. And into the block. Bushler is stuffed once again.
Tough swing from Bushler. She didn't have any approach on that deep set. I'm not sure she saw that block.
Well, what adjustment should she make?
Well, she could just hit it a little higher and it would have come back softer.
Hit it up into the block, restart the point. Back to Bushler again, and that ball dug right on top of the net. That's a double contact. And you won't see that very often. Maddie Bug. For the viewers out there who watch a lot of volleyball, bear with me for a moment. First contact, defensively, it can come out every which way but loose. But on the second contact, like the set there from Maddie Bug, got to come out clean, and that's clearly a double contact as we look at the Hall of Famer, John Dunning, 4 times an NCAA champion, twice at Pacific, and twice here with the Stanford Cardinal. The last one, all the way back in 2004.
Just like Mike Seeley, John Dunning won his first year as a head coach at Pacific when Taras Leskovich went to the national team, and he took second the year before. The team was almost all back.
Free ball here coming to Stanford. Maybe a look at Ajanaku. That's what Burgess does. There is a ball outside the antenna, and that's going to be a free point given once again to Stanford. And for the #1 team in the nation, you have to be very stingy when it comes to giving them free points.
Yeah, they are just so balanced and so good at blocking, serving, and scoring and playing defense.
Well, I like the way Bushler passes the ball high up to the block. Ajanaku outside once again and ripping into the cross court. Morgan Bokether making the most of her senior season here at Stanford.
Yeah, the in blocker reached out and gave her a huge hole.
Goalkeeper loves to pull the ball cross body. As an outside blocker and a middle blocker, you got to make that adjustment. Another dig by Stanford. And there's the first look at first-team All-American Ajanaku. And now Stanford starting to bring together some points. Up 11-6, and we will step aside. Matchup between number 17 UCLA and the number 1 Stanford Cardinal. And right now, Inky Ajanaku and the Cardinal on early first run.
She's number 3 in the nation in hitting, and the other middle blocker is number 1 in the nation. So Lutz is number 1 and Ajanaku's number 3.
Marilla Lutz, 6'8", redshirt freshman. That ball served out of bounds and missed by the defensive specialist Carly Wilson. Just underway here at Stanford, Maple Pavilion. Number 1 Stanford taking on number 17 UCLA. Stanford Cardinal got out to an 11-6 lead. UCLA closed down to 12-10, but now a little bit of a spurt once again by the Cardinal. Short serve, taking the middle tacker Nightingale out of play, and that ball nicely and quickly off of the block and out of bounds by Bushler.
Showing amazing quickness for freshmen. Her hitting average has just been going higher and higher as the Pac-12 started. She's one of those rare players who hits better in Pac-12 competition than she does in preseason.
It is very, very unusual for that to happen because this conference is so good and so athletic and so well coached. Usually, you know, I kind of throw out numbers based on who an opponent has played in the preseason. Oh, you're hitting 300. Yeah, against who? We'll see what happens when you play Oregon.
As a coach, I always threw out the weak opponents. And just averaged in the strong opponents, and that's how I told what player came through when we really needed them.
Free ball coming here to Stanford. Fan wanted a lift on that second contact. And it certainly could have been. And Marilla Lutz out of Houston, Texas, sat out last year. Mentioned leading the nation in hitting percentage, hitting .488, which somewhere should be against the law. She's only got 20 errors in 266 swings.
John Dunning saw it for the first time. She was 16 years old, and she was 6'7". He watched her hit one ball and decided he wanted her to come to Stanford.
Good decision. Well, I was watching her warm up. And got a nice arm swing, pretty good velocity in her arm, and that's something that you look for out of a middle attacker. Kansani back to serve, working on Burgess short. Good swing, high up over the block, and not going to chase it down. Kyle Gilbert, the libero, missing that. And that was a very, very nice swing in transition once again.
Yeah, Bushler hit the real smart shot that time. She had no approach, and she hit slightly up at that big block.
Taylor Formico, the transfer from UC Santa Barbara in the white jersey, right in the middle of your screen there, the libero for UCLA with that beautiful defensive save. Burgess the outside once again, dug by UCLA. Gilbert is there, and was there a touch on that? It looked like there was a touch. But that's good work by the officials. Touch by Nightingale out of the middle. Or that was on Frager. The officials are Daphne Nelson. She is the first referee, and the second referee is Kitati. That was a micro touch, but touch all the same. Working on Bushler, and so far so good passing the ball. Bushler high up into the block, but not high enough against Lutz at 6'8".
The only thing that would have split on that play would have been a left-handed white-off shot into the stands. And how many right-handers could do that? Not many.
Coming from a left-hander, Al Skates.
Yeah, and that was the shot.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. And almost impossible to execute in that situation. Nice play out of the middle, coming right back is Frager. And Ryan Bushler, the 6'1" freshman out of Del Mar, California, doing an absolutely marvelous there because Stanford's going right at the freshman. She's passing the ball well. Serve receive has not been the problem for UCLA. Rachel Inoue, 5'6" junior out of Kailua, Hawaii, on to serve and play defense for the Bruins. Stanford leading 19-15 opening set for 4 sets to 25 points. Perfect dig, and Karstelo is dug at the other end. Karstow again. Boy, the Stanford block is real king on her. Great hustle by the Cardinal. Lowe once again ripping the ball for the block.
3 in a row for Lowe, and she puts away the third set. Some nice coverage by Bruins, and getting those block rebounds. We're headed straight onto the floor.
Moretta Lutz there with the stuff block, but not quite to the floor. As you pointed out, Al, hitter coverage, particularly in women's game, you got to get in there and cover. And also, it really looks like Karstow Lowe. She wants the ball.
Oh, she does. She does. She had a nice approach on every one of those transitions. She got back past the 3-meter line each time.
Got to work between offense and defense. There you see the current standings. Washington, Stanford tied atop the Pac-12 Conference. Oregon having another solid season. Very good offensive team. And there's UCLA right there in the midst of things. And USC, after a very, very slow start, now at 12-7 overall. Last year, the Pac-12 Conference had 9 teams advance into the NCAA tournament. And obviously, there's a lot of work to be done, but there are solidly 7 teams in the mix right now. I'm including Arizona State now as well, currently at 14-6 in conference and 500. 14-6 overall, 500 in the conference.
Yeah, 9 teams went to the NCAAs from the Pac-12 last season. And they've won 6 out of 14 NCAA championships the last 14 years. And the last one was UCLA's in 2011. Now, on the other hand, the Big Ten has won 9 NCAA championships, 6 by Penn State and 3 from Nebraska. But I think from top to bottom, I think that Pac-12 is stronger.
UCLA has 4 NCAA championships, 7 overall if you go all the way back to the AIAW days, and Stanford with 6 national titles. They've been runner-up 8 times. John Dunning has coached 9 finals matches, more than anybody else in the women's game. Obviously, you exceeded that number by quite a large number, as a matter of fact. But John Dunning in the NCAA championship match 9 times and has won it on 4 occasions. After the Stanford timeout, good soft block. And a chance here for UCLA. That ball's got to get to the floor. Tight set. Dig by Karstow Lowe. Karstow Lowe right down the line, and we want to welcome the audience that have been watching Arizona State take down Oregon 3 sets to 2. And Karstow Lowe leading the way, as you might imagine, for UCLA, but it has been the Stanford Cardinal. I'm Paul Sunderland with Hall of Famer Al Skate here in Stanford, California. The Stanford Cardinal 18-0, UCLA 14-5.
Karstow Lowe is heating up now. She's up to around 300. She wants the ball, and she's going to hit 2 more times in the front row before she goes to the back. And Janaku, the middle blocker, will be over there to block Karstow.
UCLA passing the ball exceptionally well and creating one-on-one for Lowe out on the right side.
Yeah, Inky couldn't get there. That fast set, that in-tempo set was beautiful, high and fast.
So Karstow Lowe got off to a very slow start, Coach Skates. 1 kill out of her first 4 swings. Starting to get right back up to her average of 6 kills per set. Beautiful swing down the line once again by Bo Cather.
Bo Cather's been hot. She was hot last weekend, and she is hot this set.
Bo Cather out of Newport Beach.
That's her 4th kill of the first set.
I'm really impressed with UCLA's ball handling so far, but Nightingale into a couple of big Cardinal blockers and not enough room to swing. And now Stanford in control here against Mike Seeley's UCLA Bruins, leading 22-18. Swing here for Lawless, going inside. Was able to tuck out on the sideline earlier on in this set, but now UCLA, you look at the stats, Al, and I would guess that the Bruins have given Stanford at least a handful of points, and you can't do that against the best team in the country. We'll be back with more from Stanford, the Cardinal leading by 5.
Coming up Monday on Sports Work, Glenn.
Welcome back to Pac-12 volleyball coming your way. Of course, on the Pac-12 network, Paul Sunderland, Val Skates, and the Stanford Cardinal, consensus #1 team in the nation, Washington, right at their heels. Stanford has played a very, very difficult schedule, obviously in the conference, but also in the non-conference. Washington there at 4, Oregon at 7. And the RPI, a vitally important number when it comes to the NCAA tournament. So you can see Utah is well within a conceivable cutoff right now, Al, at 49. Arizona State and Oregon State having a nice year under Terry Liskevich up in Corvallis. They are no easy out, and Colorado and Utah would certainly fall into that category as well. They took Stanford to 5 sets, and actually the Colorado Buffaloes led Stanford up in Boulder 2-1 on a service error. Carstolo will serve once again. Ready with a couple of aces, and now another.
Oh, that's very nice. That ball didn't turn over. It was kind of a knuckleball jump serve, and it just kept rising. I don't think she could get out of the way of that one.
Kyle Gilbert in the black jersey, libero for the Stanford Cardinal. That one, no top spin, and so it carried long. So it will be 4 set points for the Stanford Cardinal. Howard will serve the Cardinal as the crowd comes to their feet for the first of 4 set points. Oh, that's going to be double, if not a triple contact. I'm sure if you can hit it 3 times out.
Yeah,
but it wasn't pretty.
You rarely see a call on set point like that, but I think that was mandatory.
Absolutely. That one deserved to be called, and Stanford an easy opening set winner. 25-20 over number 17 UCLA. The #1 ranked and undefeated Stanford Cardinal got out to an 11-6 lead over UCLA and never looked back. The Bruins got win 2, but then Stanford with a couple of blocks in complete control. And Al, you were talking about it. UCLA, the second best offensive team in the Pac-12 conference. They were not in that opening set.
No, Stanford is blocking really well. They have 5 blocks so far. And what happens is a lot of those blocks UCLA came up with, but they were groveling on the floor and they couldn't get a good swing when they came up with it. Stanford scored 46% of the time they served the ball. And when UCLA was serving the ball, they only scored 34% of the time. So that's a huge difference. In other words, Stanford is signing out 66% of the time, which is very, very outstanding.
We talked about the balance of Stanford Cardinal. A handful of players with 2.5 kills per set or more. And for Carstolo, she hit 357 in the opening set. She got 5 kills. She averages just over 6 per set, #1 in the nation. There were 14 swings to get there, but no errors. But other than that, and as we talked about, could UCLA be a little bit more like Stanford tonight? Have somebody else step up and have some more balance. So far, they haven't shown it.
They haven't shut Karsten down. They're giving her plenty of attention. But Karsten's had 3 aces, 4 digs, and 5 kills. Karsten's having a great night so far, but the other hitters not putting the ball away. You know, Jeannie Frager, 1 kill, 4 attempts, and nobody else is hitting positive numbers right now.
And as we talked about, UCLA has been passing the ball exceptionally well. They're in system an awful lot. Stanford will serve to start, and there's another perfect in-system pass. The ball is set a little bit too tight, and Carstolo able to save it.
That was a beautiful wipe-off because she's left-handed. She hit that ball across her body into the out-of-bounds area.
Not a lot of left-handers playing the sport of volleyball. You coached an absolutely great one, the legend Kurt Kilgore. Al, you were left-handed, and Carstolo left-handed, and it's an advantage because there just aren't very many of you guys who hit from the wrong side of the plate.
You know what I did, though? I taught my right-handed players to hit a left-handed whip-off shot. And some of them learned how to do it. Some of them didn't. Some of them didn't.
Some of them it's still in progress. Well, right before her serve, on camera, I said that you're known for a lot of things. One, of course, was national championships in the Hall of Fame, training players, training champions, training competitors, and then game planning as well. I mean, you never left a stone unturned. I never heard of a coach teaching players a wipe-off with a wrong hand, but you had that one covered as well.
I also taught him a left-hand roundhouse, because when the ball goes to the left side hitter outside the antenna, they contort their body and try to bring it in with the right hand. But it's on a left-handed hitter. You will save several points during the course of a match.
And that can be the difference, particularly in most of our, well, all of my career, and I think almost all of your career, but not certainly all of it. It was side-out scoring. So, but with rally scoring, I mean, every point is even more and more magnified. Just underway here, second set, and Brittany Howard rattling that ball through the block and down.
Brittany Howard went high that time. I liked her approach, late and fast, big vertical jump.
19 aces so far on the year. The 6'3" junior out of nearby Los Altos has been a starter ever since she came onto the Stanford campus. Good set to the outside, but Jordan Burgess, oftentimes people think, okay, if we're playing Stanford, we go after Burgess. She's already got a couple of stuff blocks.
Look at that penetration. She gets up early over the net, waiting for the spiker to hit the ball.
Jordan Burgess out of Florida, wearing number 23 in white. Very good block there. An outstanding all-around player. And Riley Bushler coming through with a kill off the left side. And the Bruins could use an awful lot more of that as Taylor Formico goes back to serve. Just high swing through the seam in the block. Tight pass, blocked at the net by Bug. That's a play UCLA should have converted on. And that ball off the block of Ijanaku, off of Kyle Gilbert and to the floor. And UCLA will continue to serve. Stanford won the opening set 25-20, tied here 4 in the second set. Best 3 out of 5. Ijanaku.
That ball's not coming back. That digger, Carsto, was in perfect position to dig that ball. She didn't have a chance to get her hands flat. The ball came so fast.
A lot of comparisons between Inka Ijanaku and the great Feluca Akinradawo, one of the new world champions for the United States, who played here and set records with a Stanford Cardinal. That ball tucked down inside. Both of them wearing protective goggles. More on Ijanaku in just a moment. Feluca Akinradawo, who had a couple of detached retinas, wore the goggles. And Inky, I talked to John Dunning, and he told me that his star junior, she gets her head so far over the net blocking, she just wears them for protection because he didn't want to go down the same road as Ijanaku.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times middle blocker, well, Lutz's head is almost at the bottom of the tape at 6'8". We'll block a ball with her face. The key is don't let the opponent know he did it with your face.
as your eyes are watering and blood is trickling down your nose. Well, you know, as they say, if you're not getting hit, you're just not in the right spot. Service error here, and UCLA back to the line. Rachel Inouye came in and did a very nice job, not only digging balls, but dig balls right to the 10-foot line, giving UCLA transition scores. And the ball served out of bounds. So defensive specialists come on and missing that serve, and Jordan Burgess will go back to the line. Originally from Fort Myers, Florida, honorable mention All-American last year. We saw Mike Seeley. What do you think he told his team, or if you were in his shoes, what would you have said to his team during the first and second set?
Well, the thing is, right now, the blockers are late. The Stanford offense is getting faster and faster as the season progresses. And the blockers have to get over the net, even if they're late. Right now, they're trying to get to the point of the attack. And if they do, their hands aren't over the net. The ball's going down in front of them quite a bit.
Good serving here tactically by Burgess. Short serve, that tactic I don't think is used nearly enough as Haley Lawless is able to get the Bruins out of a tough spot.
I only know what I would tell them. so I don't really know what Mike Seeley told them, but that's what I would tell them.
Well, that's why I rephrased the question. And instead of in his shoes, Coach, what would you have said?
Okay. Oh, look at that set.
Wow, that could have been a double contact. Boy, that was, if UCLA doesn't win this point, but they do, once again, the good wipe off that time by Karstelo.
Karsta will hit 90% of her attacks from the right side of the court, somewhere within 10 feet from the sideline to the sideline and beyond.
Shank pass here, and UCLA a chance to get back on top. Never led in the opening set. That ball missed down line, but a touch is detected, so the kill for Lawless and the Bruins, who lead it now 9-8.
You know, when I started playing, the players were expected to call their own touches on the ball. It was called the honor call. And I remember playing with a Hall of Famer, Dick Hammer. At least he's Hall of Famer at USC. And Dick, on game point, called a touch on himself in the middle back. And the officials didn't detect it. It was a replay. Dick's teams lost the championship.
Wow.
At the USA Open. And then that stopped in '64.
There's no more honor among volleyball players.
They're just like basketball players now.
Good reaction by both Cather and Buck, keeping the ball alive for the Cardinal. Quick, what a block. Brittany Howard one-on-one.
See, it's so difficult to move laterally and still penetrate at the same time. She pulled it off with both arms.
Brittany Howard, number 16, matched up, and Stanford scrambling to keep ball alive. Make your opponent earn another point. UCLA couldn't get it done. And Karstelo coming back with a little extra velocity after being blocked one-on-one.
Yeah, that had some heat on it. Her balls are hard to dig. They come a lot faster than a normal spiker's attack.
Janaku, very high point of contact in the middle.
Now, the middle blocker from UCLA was in front of her, right there, and she had a spit block, but she had enough vertical jump to put it somewhere else.
Inky Janaku is a spectacular performer. Kelsey Humphrey, 6-foot sophomore out of Port Beat, coming on for the first time to serve for Stanford. Stanford won the opening set. If you're just joining us, 25-20. Good set to Howard, who tip over the top, and Karstelo got a little bit stuck there and couldn't kick out to recover that ball.
Well, Kasani is not tall enough to make her dig high, so that ball went down real fast.
That ball right down backs of the blockers. UCLA continues to receive serve very, very well, and Bowie Nightingale on the slide.
That was a nice set. It went all the way to the antenna and beat the middle blocker out the antenna.
Nightingale, 6'3" senior out of Sacramento, hitting .284.
Yeah,
not good enough for a middle hitter.
Well, I like my middles to hit 350 to 400, but you know, she does a lot of other things, blocks well and everything.
Howard tipping inside, gathered by Bushler, high up into the block. Stanford going to have another opportunity. It's the Burgess out of the back row, ripped away.
Okay, I look up the stats of Nightingale. Since the Pac-12 started, she's hitting 1.5 kills per set, and she's hitting 400. So that 284 is for all the preseason stuff. Maybe she wasn't in shape yet. Maybe she wasn't motivated, but right now she's doing well.
Well, 400 is a solid number in this conference, or in any conference for that matter. Boy, that's a nice little play over the top of the block by Julie Kansani.
Kansani was in the front court. She actually set the ball from above the net, which is perfectly legal if you're in the front court. In the back court, it would have been a violation.
Yep. Cannot attack.
Yeah, over the 3-meter line.
And right back at you, Maddie Bug. You're going to say, okay.
You know, UCLA's assistant coach Stein-Metzger set for 2 NCAA championship teams for me. If the opposing setter jam, you can count on Stein either hitting the pass or jamming the pass. Mike Seeley, the setter on the '93 championship team at UCLA, was like that. He was all about setting up the attacker.
So 3 NCAA championships over on the sideline. Mike Seeley was also the most outstanding player of that championship tournament. And a timeout is called, and Stanford leading 1-0 and 15-12. You're watching Pac-12 college volleyball on the Pac-12. Stanford hitting a cool 5-14, 19 kills on 35 swings, 1 error. No wonder they're on top of most of the offensive categories in the Pac-12 conference, but also in this match.
Look at the differential for the season. They hold their opponents to 176, and they hit 333. What a differential. I mean, you can win NCAA championships with a 30-point differential, or even a 1-point differential for that matter in a certain match. But that is just out of this world.
Yeah, off the charts offensively.
Stanford, by the way, for this second set, is hitting 778 with 7 kills and 9 attempts.
So the obvious question is, what does UCLA do?
UCLA has to block. They haven't blocked 1 ball.
And they got to serve. You talked about that before first serve. They're going to really have to serve.
Right now, Karstelo is the one that's bringing it. Now, she has some errors, but she's got to keep going for it. But you know what? Karstelo can't hit 15 balls a set, come with a big jump serve all day long. So she's going to be serving some floaters to conserve her energy.
Yeah, that's a good point. A couple of aces in the opening set. Jordan Burgess right to the seam in the block, and an easy kill for the Stanford Cardinal. Now 8 of 10 so far with no errors in the second set. An error in volleyball is when you hit a ball out of bounds or blocked for a point. There's Maddie Bug out of North Carolina, last year's Pac-12 setter of the year. Wow, dicey set that time. Kansani finding Frager going behind, a little bit of a mini slot.
That was a beautiful set because watch, he was running to the sideline and set that ball, but the attacker ran a great route right behind her. So you tell where the setter is going to be when she's sprinting along the net.
In a way, again, Mr. Last serve. This one short, trying to take the middle attacker out. Good set in transition, giving Karstelo another opportunity off the right.
Karstelo hit over the block that time. She can hit over, around, through, and off. She's had all 4 shots going.
I was going to ask, what else is there?
That's it. A dig shot.
Yeah, she is really, really a wonderful player. Burgess again. Over the block, and Jordan Burgess, I say only 6'1", but the way today's game is played, she's a little bit on the undersized sort of portion of things.
She looks like she's tiny compared to those 6'8" middle blockers as she's standing next to sometimes.
4 kills on 11 swings. All of the Stanford Cardinal obviously are hitting for very high percentage right now. Easy dig by Gilbert. Oh, there is no doubt where that ball is going, but this time Karstelo a little too much across her body and missed it down the line. Low so far, 10-24. That was her first hitting error, and now Stanford leading 1-0 and 18-15. Not good set in transition, and Bocapper can't do anything about it.
UCLA gets their first block of the night right here. Maybe they can run a string off. That was a trap set. I mean, that attacker had to contact the ball over the net.
A serve, and this is what can get UCLA right back in the Jenny Frager with the ace serve, joining Karstelo for UCLA. Al, I know from playing against your team in days gone by, you really focus on the blocking aspect of the game. Do you think somewhat it's become a little bit of an underappreciated skill?
No, it's been more and more focused on by top women's teams because the team wins the NCAA championship hold their opponents down on their hitting efficiency. And When I first started watching women's NCAA volleyball in the 81-82, the blocking was just pathetic. But now they block perfect techniques. Inky Janaku, for example, is fantastic. The coach is really focused on blocking quite a bit now.
That ball never cleared, so another unforced error here for UCLA. And Stanford starting to pull away. And head coach Mike Seeley has called timeout. Stanford won the opening set 25-20, and now lead here in second 20-17 here on Pac-12 Network.
Coming up Monday.
All the Stanford Cardinals so far here at home at Maples Pavilion. Don't forget, stay with us for the intermission report on the Pac-12 Network. Ashley Adams will be in the studio. Arizona State with a big win at Oregon. We'll have highlights for you. So Washington State, Colorado women's soccer highlights. That's coming up during the break between the second and third sets with Hall of Famer Al Skates on Paul Sunderland. UCLA 5-3 in conference, winner of 4 out of their last 5, 14-5 overall. The Stanford Cardinal undefeated and ranked #1 in the nation at 18-0. Look at that differential. Inky Janaku, the Stanford Cardinal, 476. They have been almost perfect offensively.
Well, UCLA doesn't know where they're going. They can't key on anybody.
Well, we talked about the balance and the versatility of the Stanford Cardinal. So not the same for UCLA with Karsta Lowe doing about 75% of the work at the offensive end. But to your point, UCLA has no idea where the Stanford Cardinal are going.
That's right, and they're going there fast. So Karsta just had her 10th kill.
And you made an interesting point, Al, about the fatigue factor. It's only the second set, but Karsta Lowe already taking a little bit off at the service line because she has to carry such a huge load.
She's had 25 sets already.
And we didn't even come to intermission. I hope they got some oxygen for her in the locker room. Humphreys on to serve once again. Oh, what a good block again by Brittany Howard. Perfect technique.
Yeah, Brittany's the best in blocker on Stanford's team. She blocks about 0.8 blocks per set, which is into the middle blocker area. Middle blockers have a lot more attempts, of course, than in blocker.
Well, ideally, a middle blocker participates in every blocking opportunity. The outside blockers don't get all that many, so exactly to your point, at 0.8 per set, that's a big number for an outside blocker.
Yeah, she's solid.
Has got to be absolutely, doesn't look like it, but he's got to be thrilled with what his team is doing right now.
Yeah.
Stanford is the best and most balanced team I have seen so far this year. Superb in serve reception, offense, and of course, as soon as I say that, Jordan Burgess, who's one of the most solid, shanks that ball right out.
Well, she just kept walking backwards. She should have just stopped. It's difficult to pass the ball when you're moving your feet. But I'm sure she'll correct that on the next pass. She's very solid passer normally.
John Dunning does not want to let the momentum get out of hand by any stretch, and here with only a 2-point lead, as much as Stanford is dominated, you know, UCLA has got an opportunity. Stanford only leading 22-20.
Yeah, when you look at the hitting differential in the second set, you wonder how come UCLA is so close in points, 20-22. But if they can get another point here, they'll streak to server. That'll be 3 in a row. They'll have a lot of momentum going for them.
And see the number of NCAA championships won by the Pac-12 Conference. It's 1981 when women's volleyball became an official NCAA sport. Stanford with half a dozen. John Dunning has 2 of those. He's got 4 overall. UCLA with 4. Mike Seeley won it a couple of years ago. Andy Banikowski, the others previously to that. And Washington with 1, and USC with 3 titles through the years.
I remember when Andy Banikowski first started coaching women's volleyball at UCLA.
When was that?
That was he was probably about 1966. He was playing volleyball for me. He was a swimmer at the fraternity. I had a lot of volleyball players. They brought him over. We taught him how to play. He did first team All-American by his senior year. But the girls came over, and I motioned to a couple of guys. I said, one of you freshmen has got to coach these girls. They didn't have a coach. And Andy took a look at these attractive young ladies. He says, I'll coach him. And he coached him all right. He coached him from the time he was a student until he retired.
A marvelous, long, 3.5 decades career for Ann Banikowski at UCLA. Mike Seeley is only the second ever women's head volleyball coach for the UCLA Bruins.
That's right.
Howard, the tip over the top. Low is there. UCLA with a chance to get within one, and they do. Riley Bushler off blocking out of that.
That was another smart shot by Bushler. She hit up at that end blocker. She was trapped. For a freshman, she has a lot of smarts out there.
So UCLA being out hit, being out blocked, being out hugged, but hang in, and Karstelo bringing enough offense that they are back within one and putting some pressure on Stanford. Howard able to roll over the top. That ball by Carly Drolson just gotten off the floor, but UCLA couldn't follow up.
Look how the ball behind her. She knows the block's there, so she just takes it up. Smart shot.
UCLA thinking only one thing. First ball side out right here. Crush down the line. Beautiful swing by Bushler.
Wow. Impressive.
UCLA again back within one as their libero for Michael will go back to serve.
That's hard to hit on a fast low set like that. It's easy to turn a high ball, but that ball was moving.
Low will be available in the right back. Good pass here. Ajanaku. UCLA is going to get free ball. Not good first contact. Okay, that was a good swing by Bushler into the block. She needed some help there.
You know, it should have been covered, that's for sure. UCLA's substitute setter is in right now, and Megan Manoa is in the front court setting. And she was the starting setter last year and just got healthy a few weeks ago.
Talked about the fact that Julie Corsani wanted to play sand volleyball at UCLA after transferring from Cal State Fullerton, and she's been starting setter because she was the only healthy player at that position. Set point number 1 for the Stanford Cardinal. Bushler again high up into the block and somehow kept live, but a lift is going to be called on Loretta Lutz.
Yes, good call.
That was a good call. Pretty loud in here. Couldn't hear the whistle.
It's a quiet whistle. We're right next to the ref. I didn't hear it either. It is loud in here.
Set point number 2, Stanford looking for the 2-0 lead, and UCLA will talk things over after Stanford Cardinal call timeout. John Dunning, his 14th year. Last year they were 27-6, 17-3 in the Pac-12 conference, finishing second to only the Washington Huskies and lost to eventual national champions Penn State 3-2 in the regional final.
That's right. And you know, Bowcaster hardly played last year, and she's just having a breakout season as an opposite. I mean, she just got in a few sets last year, a few matches. So she hardly had any experience at all her entire career. Now, UCLA needs a block here. They have one block for the entire match thus far, and they need one now.
Pretty good resume is the Stanford Cardinal volleyball program. Talk about the half a dozen NCAA championships, 18 Final Four appearances. And as you well know, Al, through the decades, this has become a very, very, very competitive and deeper sport. You look what's going on in the ACC, Big 12 with Texas. Texas has become a real powerhouse. Nebraska's been there for a long, long time. 5 or 6 outstanding teams in the Big Ten Conference. North Carolina and Duke are good out of the ACC. Set point number 2.
There's 2 hitters in the front court for Stanford right now. The setter is a front court player. She can also attack the ball. The opposite is in the left back. She'll be running down the right sideline, Bowcaster, to get a set out of the back court.
Outside to Burgess, and she shot straight down.
Now the middle blocker followed the setter all the way to the sideline and was there waiting for that tap. So Burgess would have had to set back 28 feet to Bokether on the run, get one-on-one.
And we're tied at 24. Wow, you look at the stats and you think there is absolutely no way. And that ball is hit out of bounds. And now just like that, UCLA with a set point and looking to tie this match at 1 apiece.
They haven't gone to Lutz, the #1 hitter in the nation right now in hitting efficiency.
They might here, and they do. Ball tipped over the top and to the floor.
They had 2 blockers up on her, but she just a short dink right over the middle blocker. Nobody is ever there for that one.
Boy, everybody's dug in expecting real heat out of the middle, and Lutz, 6'8", tapping that ball down. Shank pass here by Formico. And Karstolo completely misplayed that tip. Now Stanford with their 3rd set point.
This is the only time Karsta hits on the left side. On side out, 1 rotation. And all her other swings come on the right side or out of the backcourt, say 10 feet from the sideline. She likes to see. So this is not her best spot over there. This set's way inside. She comes in. She usually gets there quick. That was just a bad play.
Yep, just a miscue by Karstolo. And now John Dunning. To get a chance to talk things over, they need 1 first ball side out. Once again leading 26-25 to take the 2-0 lead. I want to remind you immediately following this broadcast, it's either Utah at 3rd-ranked Washington or number 15 Arizona in Corvallis to battle Oregon State. Live coverage starts right here on the Pac-12 Network's Next and Pac-12 Now. Check pac-12.com games in your local area. UCLA is starting to pick things up offensively after being out hit by about 160 points, but Stanford dropping off just a little bit, hitting 375.
Big difference here, the blocking. Stanford is blocking a lot of balls. Even the balls they're controlling, they're able to dig and convert in transition. So that's been a big difference, and that's why UCLA isn't hitting for big numbers.
So starting setter Maddie Bug will go back to serve. Karstolo still out on the left side, probably her least comfortable position. The 1 time out of the 6 rotations that she hits on the left. Right side, ball not down yet, and a free ball to UCLA.
Looked like 4 hits almost.
It was close, and Karstolo able to tuck that ball. And the Bruins stay alive, fending off 3 set points for the Cardinal.
Lutz can't get there, and there's a little hole. Bang.
So in a way, defensive specialist will go back once again for UCLA and head coach Mike Seeley. She's been served short, trying to take away the middle attack. Not so here. Perfect pass by Burgess. Low off the block, Stanford all over that. Excellent ball control, and back to Lutz in the middle into the deep cross-court corner.
That was nice transition. A 6'8" has to work hard to get a 2-step approach, and she got it.
Set point number 4 for Burgess and the #1 ranked Stanford Cardinal. Perfect pass out to Lowe once again, who just drills it. If you're Stanford, do you just forget everybody else and send all of your blockers? Because this is one-on-one now.
See, yeah, Inky can get there that fast set. Lutz can't. Inky is much quicker. Sideline to sideline. Bigger.
Tough serve. UCLA is going to get an opportunity. Tied at 27. The Bruins for the lead inside the block down by Lawless.
Everybody's thinking it's going to go to low, and Lawless gets a big kill.
Set point number 2 for UCLA. Stanford won the opening set easily, 25-20, and that ball is served out of bounds.
By 5 feet.
Now Inky Ajanaku in the front court. To your point, Al, about what she will be able to do against Karstalo, who's out on right side.
Well, she'll get there in the block if Karst gets the set. She's not leaving the middle to go to her right side.
Megan McGahee, defensive specialist, on to serve. Out to low once again. That ball set way inside. And a Janaku turned out the lights.
Yeah, Janaku was there waiting for that one. She was straight up.
Wow.
Elbows over the net. Big penetration.
Maybe an ill-advised swing by Karstalo. Set dying a little bit inside. Set point number 5 for Stanford. And that's going to be a double contact. Wow.
See, that one, it was a double contact. But a game point on set point, it's unusual to see that call.
I agree with you. It was a double contact, but there had been others similar to that contact that went uncalled, and there it was.
In international play, you never see that call.
Head coach John Dunning on with us now. And coach, I know you're happy about being up 2-0, but what got away from you there at the end, because you were in complete control of that second set?
You know, we're really struggling to get any momentum really going. We think we try to score 6 points against them, but either serving, passing, not going for balls is just interfering. We can't feel like we get any momentum, and I think our confidence just kind of went away there. We got a few things I think we got to adjust a little bit, maybe take a deep breath during the break.
Coach, your quick hitters are both hitting in 600s. You think you'll feed them a few more balls here the third set?
Man, you are a very experienced coach. I totally agree with you. We want to get them the ball as much as we can get any time. And part of that has to do with controlling the ball. But last weekend we went away from it a little bit. I think we got to get back into going to it.
All right, thanks, Coach. Really appreciate your time. Coach John Dunning of the Stanford Cardinal, who survive a comeback by UCLA. They win the second set 30-28 and are up 2-0.
Hey, good evening. I'm Ash Adamson with this Pac-12 intermission report. Right now, top-ranked Stanford up 2-0 on UCLA. More live action from Maples Pavilion coming your way in just a few. First, though, let's show you what happened in the other top 20 Pac-12 volleyball showdown today. Oregon hosting ASU. Team split the first 2 sets, so we pick it up in the third. Chelsea Keoho gets big dig, and Liz Brenner puts it away on 2. Ducks take set number 3, 4 set now. Sun Devils up 2. Mackenzie Wiley with the pancake, and Macy Gardner puts away the kill over the block. ASU forces a 5th set. In that 5th set, Mercedes bins with the roof in the middle. ASU had 21 blocks as a team. Match point now for Arizona State. Whitney Follett gets the kill on the quick attack. Arizona State pulls the upset on the road over number 11 Oregon. Women's soccer from earlier today. Number 24 Washington State paying a visit to Colorado. Tied at 1 in the 50th minute. Courtney Gutlein leads Caitlin Johnson perfectly. Johnson finishes her 2nd goal of the season. It stands up as the game winner. Cougs take it 2-1. Right now, Stanford up 2-0 on UCLA. Stick around. Your latest sports report update is coming up after the break.
Between you.
UCLA men's soccer team took over the top spot of conference standings by knocking off Washington in Seattle. Coming up Monday on Pac-12 Sports Report, we bring you the story of star freshman Abu Danladi and his amazing journey to Westwood from Ghana.
Abu Danladi, see that Ghanaian wristband on his left arm, was playing barefoot about 8 years ago in Ghana, won a trial at the Right to Dream Academy, and eventually making his way all the way here to Westwood.
I come to this town called Aje in the western part of Ghana. I grew up playing in this dirt field. I never thought I would get an opportunity to try out for an actual team.
Keep your eye on the talented Abu Danladi.
They made an announcement on the radio that there was a soccer academy having a tryout. For 4 years there, I worked with hard, and there was an opportunity to come to the U.S. and they were like, "You want to do this?" And I thought, I could leave one less burden on my family, and it's a great opportunity. I love soccer.
A special story you can catch the full version Monday on Pac-12 Sports Report, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you then. That's all the time we have in studio. We'll get you back to your match right after this quick break. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching the Pac-12 Sports Report Update.
Palo Alto, California, Stanford, California, home to the #1 ranked women's volleyball team in the nation. What a beautiful part of this country. The Stanford Cardinal up 2-0, but wasn't always pretty and it wasn't always easy with Hall of Famer Al Gates on Paul Sunderland. Al, you look at the numbers and Stanford dominated in every category, but they just barely held UCLA at bay in second set.
Well, UCLA had some aces, but Stanford women would not allow UCLA to put the ball on the floor. They were taking everything that was available, and UCLA made some hitting errors, trying to create shots they didn't have. Inky Njoku is so fast moving laterally. She turns and runs and swing blocks so well that the outside hitters are always seeing her right in their face.
You made the point very, very early that Stanford was by far the superior blocking team. Numbers bear that out, and also the score with Stanford leading 2-0.
That's right, and they're not going to get any slower. Now Lutz, she's not quite as fast, but she penetrates and she moves her arm laterally across the net to close holes that the hitters see. She's very good at doing that.
You look at these numbers and you'd think, okay, 396, but UCLA with 31 kills to only 25. The point differential is those double-digit 10 blocks for Stanford Cardinal.
Yeah, 140 points or so point differential.
Wow.
You know, if one team hits 500 and the other hits 450, the 500 team wins. Now, Bocather's coming off a good match, but she, you know, doesn't show it. She has no blocks tonight. She's the best outside blocker. She's the only one not blocking so far. Attack errors, by the way, include balls that are stuffed. If you're looking at that respect, UCLA has been blocked 11 times for 11 points. They've only had 7 hitting errors. Look at it that way. But Stanford, for the night, has only had 4 errors total. That means UCLA blocked when they hit 3 out.
Saw that Krista Lowe had 12 kills, but it took her 31 attempts to get her 31 attempts through 2 sets, Al. That is a huge physical load, and some of it showing with a very uncharacteristic 5 hitting errors so far. Njoku, paintbrush to the 10-foot line and down. And right on cue, John Dunning, to your query as he was headed to the locker room, we're going to get the ball at the middle as much as we can.
That's right. Maddie can do it. She doesn't need a perfect pass.
That is Maddie Bug, the reigning defensive player of the week. And also the 5-1, the 1-setter, the 5-hitter offensive deployment for John Dunning and the Stanford Cardinal. That ball off block and down off the perimeter by Hay Lawless, 6'3" redshirt sophomore out of Tempe, Arizona.
Megan Manoa gets the start at setter for UCLA. Megan was a starting setter last year. She just got cleared to play a few weeks ago, and coach going with it.
Are you surprised that change?
No, I saw Megan Manoa come in and play a little 6-2 when Carson needed a break, and I thought she set very well last weekend.
Hit down the line. That ball is gathered up by Frigger, the middle blocker stretching out. And that ball set way too tight, but UCLA not reacting, and Maddie Bug.
Yeah, Lost has got to get her hands up and get ready to challenge that. The middle blocker was aware, but both of them should have been all over that.
New middle blocker. Speaking of that, Claire Felix, 6'6" sophomore out of Colorado Springs, Pac-10, Pac-12 all freshman team last year on the floor, now wearing number 8. And Costello ripping the ball down the line.
Yeah, that was a nice hit by Karsta. You had a Inky Njoku in the area, kind of concerned with the backslide on that one, not knowing who was going to get the set.
Good set by Maddie Bug. Just hanging it up into the mate and letting Njoku do the rest.
Felix has got to take that angle, that body line angle. Oh, I see. She dropped her hands because she thought the setter was going to jam the ball.
Inky Ajanku along with Morel Lutz. Hitting lights out so far for the Stanford Cardinal. Off the right side, ball missed in the backcourt by Brittany Howard, and Claire Felix registering her first kill.
Well, that's a confidence builder for her.
Stanford won the opening set 25-20. They led 11-6 and just basically sprinted their way to the finish line. Second set, altogether different story. It looked like it was going to be the Stanford Cardinal easily. They were dominating in every phase of the game, but UCLA somehow crawled back in. Lutt on the overpass, tapped the ball down. UCLA actually had a couple of set points in the second set. It took Stanford 6 tries before they closed it out.
Yeah, what a momentum shift that would have been if UCLA won that second set.
Especially after being outplayed for about 59 of the 60 minutes, if you will.
Yeah. Look at that back set. That is nice.
Formico with a very nice dig. Bushler down the line through the hands. Stanford chasing, but not quite enough on that. And once again, Riley Bushler with another impressive swing, the 6'1" freshman out of Del Mar.
Lutz, by the way, had 2 assists against Utah last Sunday. She had 3 set attempts and 2 assists. And she's made another beautiful set backwards.
Middle blockers got to be able to step in and fill that role when called upon. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good. Low, beautiful swing out of the backcourt, dug by Bug, but over the sideline. Very nice court awareness that time by Bushler.
You know, Coach John Dunning didn't play Lutz her first year. He wanted her to gain some strength. He didn't want her to be hurt out there. And that was a good move. She's ready now.
And including the rest of this, 3 more years of eligibility, a redshirt freshman. Dug by Gilbert. That came out a little bit low, but Burgess is really quick to the left side. Bushler off the block and down once again.
Bushler's heating up a little bit for UCLA.
She's now got 9 kills. Struggled early with too many hitting errors, but now pulling up that average, just under 200 now for the match. And a good start here in the third. Formico with the dig, but over the sideline and out of bounds. Stanford ranked number 1 in the nation, perfect 18-0, 8-0 in conference. UCLA winners of 4 out of the last 5. They're currently ranked number 17. They are 14-5 so far on the overall season, 5-3 in conference. They swept the Oregons last week, but have losses to Colorado, Arizona, and at Washington. A lot of people are going to lose in Seattle. And maybe even Stanford. That's going to be the match of the year up in Seattle.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
And I think it's on your calendar, is it not?
Yeah, I think I'm doing that one.
How about that? How did you arrange that? Who do you know?
I don't know. I'm rarely in the same city twice for 2 matches in a row. I know that.
Well, that's going to be a good one. And Bushler again off the block and out of bounds. But speaking of that match, you have Stanford and Washington, and they're going to be ranked in the top 4 all season long. Nobody's going to drop that far. So no matter the loser of that match, I think that Stanford and Washington will both be number 1 seeds come tournament time.
Yes, I think so too. I agree.
Service winner down the line, and UCLA carrying some of that late second set momentum as Megan Manoa goes back to the line. UCLA leading 8-6.
Well, Megan is a strong server. That jump flow goes deep, giving them some trouble over there.
Bo Cather loves to pull the ball across her body from right side, and she does it again.
Well, I'll tell you, last week she was just drilling the line. So probably UCLA's seen that. They're setting it up a little inside.
Well, that's a versatile hitter. Bo Cather has been very patient. I saw her very early in her career. She would come in and have some moments of brilliance, but as you pointed out early in the match, this is really her coming out, and she saved best for last now in her senior year.
I'm sure she surprised everybody.
Yeah,
and maybe not herself, but the coaching staff and probably the other players.
Well, that's a good story because a talented player out of Newport Beach, and again, you look at the Stanford Cardinal resume, and they're in the national championship picture each and every year. So you know that when you come to Stanford, there are good players already here coming in with you, and she has hung in there and now having a really, really good senior season. And UCLA is doing a much better job serving the ball. Rachel Inouye comes on to dial up another ace.
And working on Gilbert here.
7 aces for UCLA. That is a huge number.
That's right. And they haven't had a lot of aces so far in this season.
It's Janaku again.
How could Felix leave Janaku alone? My goodness. You've got to stand in front of that lady. Nobody there. Oh my.
Even if there were two blockers up with Inky Janaku, well, I would set her. I'd set her anyway.
Yeah. You set her until they stop her.
Low, tight set, good high swing up into the hands. UCLA going to get another opportunity. This one pretty tight.
Wipe-off shot, right-handed. Best shot in volleyball right there, seldom seen.
Very smart shot that time by Haley Lawless. 13 matches last year before she injured her ACL.
Yeah, you let the ball drop and then you kind of swing laterally.
UCLA playing some very good defense, and I like where they dig the ball. They always get a swing. Jordan Burgess with a diving save, but over the sideline, and look at this. UCLA trailing 2-0, but on top 12-8. And Don Dunning, he talked about it when he visited it before the intermission. He said, we're playing well, but we just don't seem to really be able to capture the momentum. Same story here in the third. Pac-12 women's volleyball is presented by Tachikara. We got the ball. You bring the game. Back in Stanford, California, UCLA carrying some of that late second momentum into the third, leading 12-8. Star-studded field here with the #1 team in the nation, led by Maddie Bugg, the defensive player of the week, and Karstelo, a career-high 33 kills, a perfect 11 for 11 in the opening set against Oregon. Al, that was 33 kills in 4 sets, and then the freshman of the week is Riley Bushler, and just had a chance to say hello to her father, Judd Bushler, who had such a wonderful career at the University of Arizona and then on into the NBA. And Chicago Bulls win a handful of NBA championships. Janaku, and a soft block by UCLA. That is a bad set. Jenny Frager has got to control that ball and give her Bruin teammate proper swing.
Yeah, bump set from the back court. You don't want to make it too precise or too close to the net. That one went over.
That is the worst mistake you can make. 10 feet off the net, okay. 1 foot over, and it's lights out for the opposition. And Karstelo now with her 16th kill, come right back. UCLA still leading 13-9.
UCLA hitting over 500 in this third set and holding Stanford to slightly under 500, which is phenomenal. You know, Stanford hits 330 and leads the conference. So tonight, Stanford is hitting well over 400.
How much does UCLA change of setters have to do with improved offense?
Well, right now, it looks like Megan Noah is doing a terrific job. She hasn't played for quite a while except as a double sub and switched to a 6-2 for a few rotations, but she's looked good every time she's come in and done that.
I remember a couple of seasons ago, she was in and out of the lineup with a back problem. John Dunning with Denise Corlett, long-time assistant here for the Stanford Cardinal and a key component of success for Stanford over the many years, and also one of the lead recruiters in the country. Lutz over the top and down once again. Not great contact, but good enough when you're 6'8".
Yeah, she hits so deep that it's hard to. I mean, you can't play defense on the back line. That's where most of her shots go.
UCLA continues to lead 14-11, but trailing 2-0. That ball crushed down the line, but out of bounds by Felix. Felix telling Manoa, great set, give it to me again. Everything was good about the contact, just a couple of feet wide. Off the top of tape. Thought about creeping over, but did not.
Manoa was ready to get that ball. She was making a move towards it as a good setter should. She was the only one that could have reached it.
To Formico, 5'7" sophomore, averaging just under 4 digs per set. She comes right back. Missed that serve out of Mountain View, California. Spent last year at UC Santa Barbara and was honorable mention All-American for the Gauchos, so a really solid addition for Mike Seeley and the UCLA Bruins as Burgess goes back to the line. Paul Sunderland with Hall of Famer Al Skates here in Stanford, California. #1 Stanford against #17 UCLA. Free ball coming to UCLA. Got to capitalize here, but don't need to. That ball missed out of bounds and taking pressure off UCLA.
Good communication by the UCLA team, going for that receiver to get out of the way. See if they go after Gilbert again. She has 5 errors for the night.
Lutz out of the middle once again, and Forco a hand on it, but nothing more. And the middle attackers for Stanford continue to put up just incredible numbers.
Formico was playing very deep because Lutz hits deep. And that time she brought it a little sharper down.
Lutz 9-13, no errors, hitting .692, and Inky Adoniku a perfect 7 of 10. 7 of 10 mean perfect in terms of no errors. Karstalo
gets the kill after noggin. That ball was blocked back in her head, and she put the ball away in the middle of the Stanford court. Watch this closely. Adoniku, bang, bang, and it's down.
And what invariably happens is the backcourt players are jumping up in the air celebrating because they thought that Adoniku got the stuff.
Yeah.
And since they're airborne, they can't move, go after the ball.
Yeah, that's
I've seen that happen a lot. It goes down as a kill, if you're wondering, officially for Karstalo. Unforced error there for Adoniku.
Adoniku contacting that ball under her shoulder. She was high in the air, but the set was low in the air.
And timeout called by Stanford. UCLA doing a good job coming out of the locker room, trailing 2-0. Right now leading the #1 team in the nation. Third set here in Stanford. UCLA on top thanks to Karstalo. Already 40 swings and the same number of kills as her number 17.
Carson's having a good night, hitting 300 against a straight Stanford block. Inky Adoniku just a tad late there. She's usually right on time.
Coming out of the timeout called by Stanford. If you're wondering, each team gets 2 team timeouts. And Inoue back to serve once again. Been doing a good job of moving the ball around, working on Gilbert as well as serving short.
I notice Gilbert's not taking as much court as she normally does now.
Formco with a nice dig on Adoniku. And wow, Inky Adoniku technically is just a superb blocker.
Yes, she is. And the reason is her hands are over the net waiting for the attacker to hit the ball.
You can't do it any better than that.
No, you can't.
Adoniku on the slide off the top of the block. Good work from defense to offense for Stanford.
Haley Lawless just can't elevate high enough yet to get that. She hit split her hands with that shot.
Both are now serving for Stanford. Cutting to this UCLA lead, out of system play. Stanford's going to have an opportunity. Dig by Gilbert.
Beautiful set.
And Howard off the top of the block and down. Excellent transition out of system play for Stanford.
Yeah, how about this setter? Running backwards and bumps it over her head perfectly. And they get the termination. Maddie Bug is just an outstanding setter. We're going to watch again here. Look at that. Running to the back corner, puts it right on the money. And a great swing by Brittany Howard.
6-7 feet off the net. Plenty good enough to get a quality swing. Excellent technique and execution by Maddie Bug for the Stanford Cardinals.
Yes, sir.
Third set stats. UCLA's really picked it up offensively, and they needed to. Did not play at all well in the opening set, trailing big early, and then Stanford prevailed 25-20. But UCLA came storming back. Actually had a couple of set points in the second. Stanford prevailed 30-28, but UCLA came out strongly here in the third. On top 12-8, on top 18-14, and are now forced to call a timeout after the 3-0 run for UCLA.
Forced UCLA hitters now are in positive numbers. After the second set, it was Karstalo all by herself. But now Riley Bushler's heating it up the rest of them.
Want to remind you that Sunday on the Pac-12 networks, it's a full day of women's college volleyball coverage starting at 11. First, Utah and Washington State go head-to-head in Pullman, followed by Colorado and number 3 Washington at 1. Then at 3, the 17th ranked UCLA Bruin. Well, they'll stay in the area for the weekend and travel across the bay to take on Berkeley, California Gold Bears, who are really struggling right now. And at 5, number 19 USC is over at Stanford to take on the Cardinal once again. O'Cather coming out of the timeout in a way perfect pass. Karsta low, ripping into the cross court. I really like what Megan Manoa is doing now in terms of her location with the ball.
What difference? It's getting there quicker and higher. And the Bruins are sighting out about 8% in this third set.
Really good eye contact that time by Karsta low, even against a Giannakou. Gilbert, the libero, passing defensive specialist for Stanford, really struggling right now. Whoa, what a crack through block that time by Haley Lawless. And since the timeout, UCLA comes right back with a first ball side-up point and then a transition point.
They're hitting well this third set.
Bud might have overran that just a little bit. That ball off the top of the tape. Set pretty tight. Boy, Giannakou's in trouble, but a net violation is going to be called against Stanford's Maddie Bug on set.
And Giannakou is arguing that the ball, the net occurred outside the antenna, not in the field of play.
So I'm looking over at the official. He singled fist 2. So I'm guessing that meaning that is fist from.
The referee is right on top of the play. It was called by the umpire. But I think the ref has to determine whether it was outside the antenna or not.
We're looking for it right now. Here's another look.
Well, something happened at the bottom of the net.
Well, if it's outside the antenna, yeah, we're going to try to show it to you once again. That's Kent Kitati, the umpire. The first referee is Daphne Nelson.
Daphne is.
They've talked about it. Have a look.
Okay, and Giannakou was outside the antenna. Righteous call. I mean, righteous reversal of the call.
And good work by John Dunning stating his case. So Brittany Howard will go back to serve. That is a huge play in this match. Lawless, who really seems to have picked up her heat as this match has gone along.
Well, they're picking up Bug now. Last 2 sets were over her. And she's given line that time.
Well, a lot of line. And
last time the seam was open.
UCLA now leading 21-18. And Jordan Burgess right back off the top of the block. Karsta low available in the backcourt. Manoa up front with Lawless along with Claire Felix, number 8 in blue. Good high swing that time by Burgess.
Grace Kennedy in the serve.
First time we have seen Kennedy. Easy serve handled very nicely by Inoue. And Stanford's going to get a nice chance here in transition. But Burgess, a change of speed, looking for the edge of the block and missed it wide.
Yeah, that was all out.
Very untimely, unforced error by Jordan Burgess. And the Stanford Cardinal and UCLA look to break through. Trailing 2 sets to none.
Stanford's been losing a set the last 3 or 4 matches every time.
Lost a couple of Colorado, and if you go back and look through their season series, they have been undefeated, but have not been perfect. Easy play here for UCLA. Lawless once again off the top of the block and down. Excuse me, that was Riley Bushler. Lawless and Bushler as a pair on the left side have been very good here in the third set.
That's right.
23-19. Rolson on to serve for the Bruins. Excellent bump set. Formica again. Karsta low into the block, chucked this time by Myrna Lutz.
Who is stationed right in front of Karsta's right. I don't think she had to move. Watch this. Yeah,
not
right
much.
There.
Not much. UCLA still with a 3-point lead. And missed into the top of the tape. Wow. That was a huge missed opportunity for Lutz and Stanford.
She could have just stuck her hand out and tapped that down. Wasn't high enough to really take a swing at.
Set points now for the Bruins. Really good response by the 17th ranked UCLA Bruins off the top of the block. Bushler again. This ball well off the net, down the line, dug by Bug. And a violation is going to bring that set to a close. What a good response by the 17th ranked UCLA Bruins. Lost the opening set. Frustration in the second after they made a nice comeback and then came out in the third with good energy to serve the ball exceptionally well. And on the board, they win the third set 25-20 over the #1 Stanford Cardinal. Back once again to Stanford, California with Hall of Famer Al Skates. I'm Paul Sunderland, #1 Stanford. Perfect 18-0, taking on the 14-5 UCLA Bruins. And Al, a really nice response by the Bruins. Better production off the left side, and also the introduction of Megan Manoa into the lineup setting, I think, had a big impact on that third set.
That's right. For the first set, UCLA had a better hitting efficiency, coming in at 382. Stanford hit well. They hit 312. But the only way UCLA can beat them is to hit better than Stanford. They can't shut Stanford down. They don't have the blocking. They've been serving well. They're gone after the libero, Kyle Gilbert, who has 5 reception errors and has forced Stanford to change their alignment a little bit. And Kyle Gilbert has less responsibility than she normally does. So you can see the complete turnaround when Megan Manoa, last year's starting setter, came in for set 3. Really hitting now.
Rarely do the numbers lie, and I know you were a big numbers guy, Alan. All coaches are, irrespective of the sport. And that is a very concrete turnaround on the performance of Megan Manoa, putting her hitters in very good positions. Riley Bushler picking things up along with Haley Lawless on the outside. Now, where Stanford go?
Well, Stanford has to get Kyle Gilbert back in the groove and get those passes so they can keep going to the middle. UCLA hasn't stopped their middle yet. I mean, and Joniku, 14 sets hitting 571, which is identical to Lutz with 14 sets hitting 571. So out of 85 sets, they've only had 28 of them so far.
And Stanford has been a very good receiving team, at least so far in this match. Nice block by Lutz to open up this fourth set. You know, you made an interesting point. Stanford is a perfect 18-0, but it hasn't come without a little bit of tension over Arizona. A very good volleyball team. Dave Rubio, the head coach there for so many years, ranked 16th. And Stanford won 3-1, and then 3-1 over number 18 Arizona, and then 3-2 after being down 2-1 in Colorado.
Yeah. They have to, you know, it's so hard. Everybody's just up to play because you're the best team in the country. You just have to be outstanding every night. Manoa got called on a throw just while we were chatting here, and we'll have to watch that. This referee's calling fairly strictly, I'd say.
Well, double contact to close out what was a magnificent comeback by UCLA when they dropped the second set 30-28.
Yes.
Well, Gilbert, the libero for Stanford, looks like she is really struggling right now. Even when the passes are pretty good, it looks like it's a real effort.
Yeah, she's having a bad night. There's no question. Claire Felix made a nice move to close that block and get the stuff, by the way.
There is libero for Stanford, 5'7" senior. Last year she was an honorable mention All-American. First responsibility for the libero, be a lights out receiver.
That's right.
Burgess on to serve, just underway here in the third set. Stanford leading 2-1 and 3-2. Karsta low is stopped by Lutz.
Again, Lutz just moved over and stationed herself in front of Karsta. Look at that. See, her body's not there, but her arms are long, and they just go right in the seam and over the net. Beautiful job.
Well, you talked about it earlier. If you're not out there wherever you are, get your hands over the net, and maybe good things will happen. Unforced error by Bushler off the attempt.
So many blockers don't understand that, and they try to close the hole, which brings their arm off the net. All they have to do is penetrate. The hitters aren't perfect. Let them hit into you. If they do, you'll stuff it.
Burgess again. Working on Lawless, the front row attacker. Costello taking a look and tipping over the top of the block and away from Gilbert.
You know, if Gilbert would have seen her eyes, I think she would have started moving. Karsten looked right at her and saw how deep she was.
Well, really good fenders, and you coached many, and you coached him, and I played with him, Karch Kirai. If you just had the slightest little bit of inkling about what you were going, he was just going to stand there, slapping his hands together and playing the ball.
Well, he would reposition himself constantly. Here's Karch's sequence. He'd watch the pass, then he would look at the routes the hitters are taking, and then he would look at the set, and then he'd look at the hitter he knew it was going to go to. By then he was in a whole new position, none of which I had a damn thing to do about. He got to roam free.
Great instincts. And what a great performance as a head coach now. The first time ever the United States women have won a major world title. Karch Kirai leading the United States women's national team to the 2014 World Championship, 3-1 over China just a couple of weeks ago in Milan, Italy.
And China was coached by the legendary Long Ping, the best player to ever play for China, who came and coached our team through a whole Olympiad. So
a little bit of irony, the greatest player in the history of China coaches the United States at the Beijing Olympic Games. Good play by Bushler to keep the ball alive. Into Janaku, out of the middle again. You got to go there, Todd. You knew where it was going.
See, when you're blocking a Janaku one-on-one, you just can't go straight up. You've got to guess, because she's sharp angle either way, one way or the other. Just put two hands in one angle, or split block. Try to take both angles.
Cliff Felix was reaching into the cross body, but it still was to no avail.
Well, she can't reach with your hands together. You're not taking enough space for Janaku, because she elevates so high that she can really hit sharp angles either way, left and right. If you keep your hands together, it's not enough. You got to split block or guess and split block even when you're making a move into this, one way or the other.
Bushler with the off speed, and nice play to save UCLA, and she'll take another swing. And that's going to be a net violation on Maddie Bug. Ball block on top of the net, and then Bug following through and making contact with the top of the tape for the violation and point to UCLA.
Yeah, you just have to fan the back of the ball. You can't follow through in that situation.
Here's a perfect look at it. Ball right on top, 50-50. And trust me, there's no defense for Inky Janaku right now.
Yeah, streaker. That means every time you get a good pass or good dig, give her the ball.
And what does UCLA do to try to take her away? What's their first thing they can do?
The blocker has to be aware that the middle needs help. So the end blocker has to move in a little bit and get ready to help out.
And I would serve as tough as I possibly could. Bad pass, Janaku's a spectator.
Well, UCLA is doing that already.
Yeah.
They only have, one jump server, and Costa is not going to be jumping anymore. Because how many attempts? She's had over 43 set attempts. So she's not going to wear herself out jump serving. That takes a lot of energy.
Manoa. That's a good serve, and barely kept alive by Bug. And so UCLA all match long has been doing a very, very good job from the service line. That goes down as a service winner. The last stats we looked at after the third set, UCLA had 8 aces and 11 errors. You take that every day of the week.
That's right. Manoa's been scoring at the service line.
Janaku again. What a dig by Manoa. And Janaku again. Wow.
See, Janaku on that one-step takeoff, broad jumps laterally, and the middle blocker can't keep up with it. They had 2 blockers up with it the first time.
What an impressive player. in the mold of Luka Akinrado, who had such a magnificent career here at Stanford. Burgess through the hole in the bottom. Beautiful delivery by Bug, right on cue.
Yeah, she saw that little hole and drove it. She'll hit it low and hard if that hole is there. That's what she did.
Stanford leading 10-8, 2-1. UCLA came back and took the third set. Really good offensively, and there's another double contact called on Megan Manoa.
Megan took that a little low. She might have bumped that one. Took that waist high. It's difficult chance.
Looking over at Mike Seeley, head coach for UCLA, thought he might have used one of his 2 timeouts. So you feel like the momentum is really on the side of the Cardinal right now.
Well, she's been called for 2 throws this set. On the other hand, they're still hitting pretty well.
Karst Lowe going right after Maddie Bug.
Both Cather comes back in the back row, or using somebody to pass for. Now she's going to be a back threat. She's going to run down that back sideline.
Burgess again, blocked straight down. Beautiful move by Jenny Frager, number 10 in blue.
It was a beautiful move because she made no move but went straight over. And she was there. The seam was closed.
In a way, on to serve once again, and UCLA only trailing by 1. I want to remind, for those of you watching our match on Pac-12 Arizona and Pac-12 Oregon at 8 o'clock, we'll be taking you to the start of volleyball between number 15 Arizona and Oregon State. For those of you watching on Pac-12 Mountain and Pac-12 Washington, also at 8 o'clock, we'll take you to the start of volleyball between Utah and the number 3 Washington Huskies. Good set outside. Lawless, who's rejected once again by Lutz. I tell you, Al, when Lutz does not have to move really fast, she is tough to hit the ball by.
Yeah, I put my best servers behind Lutz when she's in the left. All your best servers, if you could. It's difficult to get in the 5-1.
Low, cracking into the cross court. What an impressive arm swing, and we brought up Karch Kirai's name as one of the all-time greats, of course, the 3-time Olympic gold medalist and now coach of the women's team. I'll tell you what, several women on the floor right here that have an opportunity to play in 2016 and on into the future for the United States. On the overpass, Felix on the tap down.
I was a really great coach when Karch played for me. We only lost 5 matches in 4 years.
How about that?
Won 3 NCAAs and 1 second, which he still talks about to this day.
We'll step aside. Stanford now leading 2-1 and 15-12 over UCLA. You're watching Pac-12 women's volleyball on the Pac-12 network here at Stanford. UCLA and Stanford going at it here. And for those of you who want to check in on the match, the Pac-12 Arizona, Pac-12 Oregon at 8 will be taking you to the start of volleyball between 15 Arizona and Oregon State. Those of you watching on Pac-12 Mountain and Pac-12 Washington also at 8 take you to the start of volleyball between Utah and number 3 Washington. To see the conclusion of our match, log on to pac-12.com. With Al Skates once again, Paul Sunderland here. My first chance to see Stanford Cardinal up close and personal. And they are a very, very solid, well-rounded team. And UCLA behind Karst Lowe done a great job turning things around. And if they can keep Megan Manoa healthy, I'll tell you, they can have an impact on the NCAA tournament. Killed this time by Haley Lawless off the left side, and Stanford leading it coming out of the timeout, 15-13. UCLA back to serve. Olga Stanzali come off the bench. The freshman out of Greece missed that ball just long, and Stanford point possession now on top 16-13.
Olga's her best server UCLA has, .31 aces per set, which is 5th in the Pac-12. And she was starting, she sprained her ankle, and she's back in now after 2 weeks off.
Haley Lawless came in. Mike Seeley was telling us before the match, Lawless came in, played exceptionally well, so he was continuing to ride that hand, and Lawless has been pretty good. It's evidenced by that kill down the line.
Well, both teams are not hitting well in the fourth set. They're hitting in the low hundreds. But what's happening is UCLA's digging a lot of Stanford's hits, and Stanford is blocking a lot of UCLA hits. Bushler, right now, is the hottest hitter in the game, by the way.
Joniku in the left front on the good pass. Look for Bug to try to find her. Not there. Out of the back row. A chance for UCLA. Into the deep cross-court corner, and that is missed by Bogather. Pretty good decision by Bushler. Didn't have an approach, just kept the ball in play.
You know, her mother won the Manhattan Beach Open, Piper Hahn, at that time. And so she has genes from mother and dad. Athletic genes, I mean.
Swing over the top of the block, and back-to-back unforced errors. And just like that, after it felt like finally Stanford had garnered some momentum, and you remember our conversation with Stanford head coach John Dunning. He said, even though we were dominating the second set, it just seemed to be fleeting, and it's certainly fleeting once again. UCLA coming out of the timeout, back to tie here in the fourth at 16 apiece. It didn't start out that way, but Stanford and UCLA in a good one here. Stanford ranked #1, UCLA number 17. And the question coming into this match, Al Skates, was would Karsta Lowe get some help offensively? And she has gotten some. Riley Bushler, Haley Lawless do a very good job, but Karsta Lowe carrying most of the load already with 22 kills.
Well, right now, Haley Lawless is out, and Strangali is in now. And she hasn't had a set yet. She's still in the back court right now. We'll see if she plays in the front.
Defensive specialist Drolson on to serve, and a shank pass by Burgess. Point scoring opportunity again for UCLA to take their first lead of the set. And down the line. Joniku, not a very good set, but at least hittable. And nice location for Brittany Howard.
Yeah, Howard hits over Manoa, and they don't dig it. They elect to let it go. They've been digging very well.
Well, that was a play that UCLA should have made at the defensive end. They'd like to have that one. Bushler off the top of the block and down. What a nice-looking freshman. She is going to have a long and very productive career at UCLA. Reminds me a little of the recently graduated Kelly Reeves, but maybe with a little more pop on the outside.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. You know what? Karsta's getting them. Lowe's getting a little breather. He's on Pine right now, sitting next to Tony Kerr, the coach for UCLA. So she's getting a little breather. She's going to come back in here later.
Well, Mike Seeley told us that, you know, where UCLA, as season sort of goes along and you are your record, if it predicts out the way it has been, UCLA with another chance. Finish that thought in a moment. Good set to the outside. Howard.
So UCLA with only 2 hitters in right now. So everything's going to Bush.
Hey, Joniku is blocked, barely kept alive, and UCLA with a free ball. And tipped to the floor by Megan Manoa, who's really helped to turn this match around for the Bruins.
Megan is the 3rd hitter, setter in the right. See, Stranzali went in for Karsta, but she's not approaching for any spikes. So they don't have anybody out of the back row. So they're making this run with only 2 hitters. And so the hitter attacked the ball that time, which was smart.
Just finished the thought I started to mention about Mike Seeley and his 5th year as coach at UCLA. They're 5-3 in conference, 14-5. They're back in the NCAA tournament. Make no doubt about it, barring some huge surprise. But you want to make sure that Karsta Lowe has got something left in her body once tournament time rolls around. So Mike Seeley is very cognizant of resting her during the week, not a lot of jumps, and then picking moments like this when he can take her out of the back row, give her a little bit of a blow.
That's right.
And then if UCLA can keep playing at a high level, she can help get him across the finish line.
Exactly. Stranzoli should at least look like she's going to hit the ball when she's in the back, because the blockers of Stanford are not paying any attention to her. So Bushler has had two blockers up with her the whole time.
I want to remind everybody, it's Pac-12 Network's groundbreaking documentary series, The Drive, featuring UCLA. Go inside the Bruin season with an all-access pass. Witness the relentless work and sacrifice it takes to build a winning team. Check out a new episode Wednesday at 7 right here on the Pac-12 Networks. That is The Drive, going inside UCLA football.
Well, UCLA needs to serve tough enough to keep it away from Miki and Joniku. And Bug will give her the ball if she can. She's in the left front right now.
Anything passed inside the 10-foot line, if I'm Maddie Bug, I'm getting the ball to a Joniku. And there's the pass, and there's a set. Completely predictable, and also seemingly a predictable result because of Joniku that good.
Well, two blockers were up with her. UCLA can't do much more than that. They can't bring Minot over there to help anyway. She's not tall enough.
Can't bring somebody else off the bench. You can't have four blockers up. There was a time we could, but that was even before my time.
Karsta Lowe's back in now, so she can hit a D now.
But in real time, she got about a 5 or 6 minute break. On the overdig, nice tap down by Jenny Frager. Not going for too much. All that matters, you get the ball to the floor.
Straight down, though. She tapped it straight down.
UCLA leading 20-18.
Manoa.
Shank pass again, and another ace for UCLA. That is ace number 10.
That is really amazing. Stanford has been passing well.
Oh, I think they're a superb passing team, but it started with Gilbert, and now Burgess is struggling as well. Joniku tipping out of the middle. Lowe is going to get swing and rips it inside the block.
She looks fresh.
Wow. Good job by Mike Seeley. Just by his star. Just give her a blow, and it's mental as well as physical.
That's right. And UCLA didn't lose any points while he was resting.
Set to the right side to a Joniku, over the top off the block, and just out of bounds.
Yeah, that was 30-foot slide set.
That's a long slide. That would have been fun.
That was a pretty amazing set.
Gilbert back to serve. UCLA leading 22-19. Must-win situation for UCLA, trailing 2-1. And Karsta Lowe through the block and down once again.
That was a nice wing. She got her feet to the ball. It was inside and a little low. She did a great job of getting there.
I'll tell you, I think this is a really good calculation by Bruin head coach Mike Seeley. Give Lowe a rest, and if you have the 2 or 3 point lead, when she gets to the left front, she can side us out right to the set victory.
That's right.
Anyway. Ball a little bit low and straight up on top of Frager. So Bug will go back to serve.
Call up, up, up. So Frager looks up. Nobody said anything.
UCLA still in a very comfortable position. Lead by 3. Ball is dug too tight. Joust Cummins saved by Lowe and stuffed by Lutz.
You don't want to hit it into Lutz. That's a good jam by her, but here's the hit.
All set very tight, kept alive nicely. That ball was kept alive very well by Karsta Lowe, and her Bruin teammates did not help her out at all.
Yeah, that ball dropped pretty fast after it hit the net.
This ball set way too tight to the net. One of the few mistakes that Megan Manoa has made.
Oh, what happened is the libero came in and took it away. Somebody was camped under that and was going to make a nice play. Libero didn't see her and went after it.
Haley Lawless, number 4 in black and blue, was right there. And Taylor Formico, the libero, stepped inside. And as we've got a timeout, I want to remind everybody, a lot more college volleyball coming your way. Tomorrow, some of the biggest stars of the Pac-12 will be coming out to play in conference matchups. It all starts at 11 as Brett Hundley leads number 25 UCLA in Colorado to take on the Buffaloes. Then at 3, 15th ranked Arizona, the Wildcats look to rebound from the first loss of the season. Connor Halliday and the Washington State Cougs host the Wildcats in a high-powered matchup. Live coverage starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. with a football pregame show on the Pac-12 networks and on Pac-12 Now.
Well, the Bruins are hitting a lot better than Stanford on the fourth set. Neither team is hitting well. Stanford is starting to make some hitting errors now. Now, UCLA has only blocked 4 balls. Stanford has hit 9 balls out, right? An unforced error. Now, UCLA has 30 balls that they've made errors on, but Stanford's blocked 20 of them. So they will hit 10 balls on it.
Patty Bug back to the line once again. UCLA 23, Stanford 22. Cartolo will be hitting out on the right side for the Bruins. And there it is. Off the top of the box, Stanford going to have a chance to tie. And they do. The set was good enough, and Mike Seeley wants a double contact on that set by Lutz, and I think he's got an argument.
Well, you know, that set actually stuck in her hands. Her back sets that I've seen the last few matches have been good. I haven't seen her set front. That wasn't very good.
Tied at 23. Coming to Burgess. Stanford looking for the lead. Not yet. Low over the top down the line.
I like the consistency of Noah. She's really setting well.
Karsta Lowe continues to add to her huge numbers. 25 kills on 54 swings. Set point for UCLA. And Lutz hammering the ball out of the middle.
Hitting that deep ball that she hits. The digger just can't get to it because it's right in the stomach.
Tied at 24. And Inky Ajanaku 1 rotation away from getting back to the front court. Back to Lowe once again, right through Lutz. And that is kill number 25. Everybody in the building knows where it's going. And the opposition, this being Stanford, still can't do anything about it.
Boy, I thought that one should have been stopped. That was very tough to the net. I don't know what happened there.
Set point number 2. Lawless out on the left side and into the middle once again, and Formico can't make the dig. Here comes Ajanaku, and now Karsta Lowe is rotated to the back court. She can still attack from there, but probably not as efficiently as from the front court.
No, I agree with you. She's tired. She's got to be tired. She's had over 50. She's had 50-something, 55 swings or so.
Tied at 25. UCLA out of system. Stanford a chance to get the lead. Ajanaku! Stanford coming back from a 23-20 deficit, and now the Stanford Cardinal have a match point, and UCLA is called timeout.
Ajanaku is hitting that ball about 8 feet off the net. The pass was about 10 feet off the net, and they know to go to her in these situations. She's having an amazing night. She's hitting around 600.
Inky Ajanaku, Al, 15 kills on 24 swings, 1 error.
Yeah, she elevates so high. She's going to beat 1 blocker all night long. She beat 2 blockers on that play, 2 blockers on that play. Her range is amazing. You know, she sees the block so well. She's so quick. First of all, you have to guess what route she's going to run. You don't know. She could run a tight slide to the center, a wide slide to the pin. She can run in front of the center, and she runs them all so quick. Almost, you can't keep up with her.
And a superb blocker.
Yes, she is.
In terms of her physicality, but also she has been coached very well. Her technique is superb.
That's right. What I like about her, she has fun playing the game. She enjoys every second. She's out there. She lets her emotions bring up her team when things aren't going well. So Stanford is serving at 26-25 for the set in the match.
Lowe is in the backcourt. Felix in the middle. And Lawless out on the left side. And serving for Stanford is Megan McGahee, defensive specialist. Ejanaku set to Bokether, and a net violation called against UCLA. And Stanford has come back from 23-20 deficit to stay perfect at 19-0. Outstanding effort by UCLA and Lowe. But they should be playing 5 sets. They should have never let that match get away, not this 4th set.
Well, there were 2 calls by the ref for set point, game 2 and game 4. One was a throw and one was a net. Those are tough calls at set points.
So Stanford improves to 19-0, 9-0 in conference. UCLA falls to 14-6 and 5-4 in conference. Thanks so much for joining us once again. Inky Ejanaku and Stanford over UCLA 3-1. For Al Gates and our entire Pac-12 crew, I'm Paul Dunderland. So long from Stanford.